You think Goku's dumb? Now that ain't smart. Hey guys, MasakoX here, and welcome back to the discussions of Dragon Ball! Why did I stop making them, you ask? Well... yeah, that. I wasn't lazing around, that's for sure. Now that wouldn't be clever of me, or nice of me, would it? Now speaking of clever, that's our topic for our opening discussion of 2017. Goku's Intelligence. Yes, he is intelligent. Now, given Goku's recent escapades in Dragon Ball Super, you'd be forgiven to think that Goku doesn't really possess much intelligence. Case in point, the Martha Bajar incident, his complete ignorance about romantic interaction with his own wife, and overt mathematical ineptitude at the Universe 6 tournament arc, to name a few. But these examples of stupidity are relatively new in the grand scheme of things, and are simply there just to kind of get a gag or two. They're a gimmick. They're there to relieve tension or just to get a cheap laugh. To me, this felt kind of odd. I've been a long-time Dragon Ball fan now, and I never thought Goku was stupid. Naive, stubborn, inconsiderate of others, sure, but never unintelligent. There's just something off by saying Goku's stupid. Think about it. If Goku were truly dumb, would he be able to accomplish any of the things that he's done throughout the entire series? It takes a lot of intelligence to send a rabbit to the moon. So Super's recent fad of making Goku silly for comedic purposes is just kinda sad. Alright Masako, where are you going with this? It's clear that the saying is a few sticks short of a bundle. Not so. I sat down and thought, there must be other ways of calculating human intelligence. It can't be just down to reciting numbers, or speaking words, or saying words and talking good like what I do. Not all of us are born with such skills. You can't really be narrow-minded and say you have to know numbers, you have to know words, or else you know nothing. Some people show it with physical ability, others with instinctive behavior. And then there are people that show it with artistic flair, yet they all quake in fear at the prospect of a math test. Ugh. The way we measure intelligence these days is somewhat flawed. With the way we measure intelligence the way it is, no wonder we all think that Goku is completely dumb because he can't do math problems. He doesn't know how to talk well. He speaks like a country hick, so therefore he must be dumb, end of. He was struggling to solve a math problem so he could fight in a tournament. A test that Vegeta imposed, mind you, probably to mess with Goku's brain. Oh, that little trickster. I feel that labeling Goku as inept is totally unfair. Luckily, I found some research that backs me up on this notion. Dr. Howard Gardner, an esteemed psychologist and professor of education at Harvard University, believes there are multiple ways of measuring intelligence and human potential, or in this case, humanoid potential because Goku's a Saiyan and all that. Gardner refers to his theory as the theories of multiple intelligence. Pretty self-explanatory. When he first proposed this theory in his 1983 book Frames of Mind, The Theories of Multiple Intelligence, he believed that there were 6 ways of denoting human intelligence and potential. Since then, that's grown to 9, and I will list those later on. Gardner believes that there are more effective ways of judging intelligence rather than just sending people in to do an IQ test or getting them to do mock job interviews to see how they cope with words. Most people would really be nervous in those kind of situations. You're on the spot, you're being examined right there and then. You can't really act at your full potential. I think most of you can relate to this. Do you ever feel nervous when you have to sit in an exam or a test, or have to talk about yourself to many people when you're not necessarily used to that kind of thing? It's very unfair to judge your intelligence or your skills based on such a one-minded situation. It doesn't reflect your capabilities. But it's okay. Gardner sympathizes with you. He describes intelligence as a biopsychological potential to process information that can be activated in a cultural setting to solve problems or create products that are of value in a culture. So what Gardner is saying is that everybody has the potential to contribute to human society and culture. It doesn't have to just involve numbers or writing things down in long form. It can be essentially about anything that humans interact and engage with. Now remember when I mentioned that Gardner believes that there are 9 types of multiple intelligence? Well, let's list them now. They are verbal linguistic, an aptitude for speech and speaking in general, logical mathematical, a skill for mathematical problems and critical thinking, spatial visual, a vivid imagination which can skillfully visualize objects in one's mind, bodily kinesthetic, a high modicum of agility and dexterity, musical, a good sense of rhythm, timing and pitch, interpersonal, great with socializing and assessing mood and context with persons, intrapersonal, the ability to be in touch with oneself emotionally and mentally, Naturalist, the ability to recognize certain plants, animals, and other objects in nature, and Existential, the desire to tackle philosophical discussions about life, the universe, and everything. Clearly not everyone can hope to be proficient in all 9 types of intelligence. I look at that list and I believe that I'm adept at maybe about 4 or 5 of them maybe? Bodily kinesthetic intelligence, me? Let's have a bit of fun. Have a think and leave a comment about what types of intelligence that you believe to possess. So what does this have to do with Goku? Well, everything really. If he were not good at any type of intelligence, how would he be able to function? I look at this list of intelligences and I believe that Goku is adept at least 5 of them. Spatial visual, bodily kinesthetic, interpersonal, intrapersonal, and naturalist. Yeah, Goku's got a lot of skills when you think about it. First off, there's spatial visual intelligence. Goku is able to visualize, imagine, and sense the world around him. In fact, most characters in Dragon Ball are able to do that. Sense energy, picture where somebody is without actually being able to see them. They have to imagine their space in the world and where they are in relation to their opponent. It is a critical part of their mental training, and Goku is the most adept of them all, especially when it comes to spatial awareness. For example, when he is fighting Yakon in the Buu saga, he is able to visualize where Yakon is in complete darkness by just sensing the air vibrations of the beast, where he is, where exactly he is, and where he needs to be, without budging a single inch himself. Oh yeah, he can also smell the guy too. In most fights where you can't see your opponent, it's important to use your mind's eye to visualize where they are. It is a crucial facet to have, or else you're going to die very quickly in Dragon Ball. Next up, there's bodily kinesthetic intelligence. Do I really need to explain this? It's quite clear that Dragon Ball is all about strong people. Goku is one of the strongest people in the multiverses. He is able to memorize his opponent's techniques whilst he is fighting them. If that doesn't take a modicum of intelligence to understand, then I don't know what does. Goku possesses great speed, hand-to-eye coordination, and prowess. It is important to be aware of one's body in Dragon Ball, and Goku is perfectly good at that. In fact, his recent fight with Hit sums up his intelligence in this field because he is able to negate Hit's time skip ability, and in fact, break through dimensional gateways. He can do that in just 1 fight. Okay, technically 2. The Universe 6 arc is kind of a fight, but they really couldn't fight at their best there. This was the first time they could actually go toe-to-toe properly, and Goku came out on top. Hit is a smart and capable assassin, and if Goku can best him in that field, yeah, Goku's pretty smart. Then there's interpersonal intelligence. Goku is able to pretty much get along with everybody. He can befriend the Omni King, who is notoriously flaky and can destroy universes at will. Goku has been able to do, with 1 handshake and a little bit of light banter, what it's taken millions of years for Supreme Kais and notable Grand Supreme Kais to even get close to achieving. Make Omni King laugh. Goku is endearing. In fact, he's so endearing, most of his enemies have since become his friend, or at least an ally. Yamcha, Piccolo, Tenshinhan, Vegeta, Hit, and even Beerus now get along with him. He's managed to get the God of Destruction as his own personal trainer. How do you do that? Well, being able to relate to others, interpret their behavior, and then use it to their own benefit? Yeah, Goku can do that pretty well. It also helps that Goku's a nice guy. Intrapersonal intelligence. Goku is constantly self-assured and can easily adapt to changes in his lifestyle, and pretty significant ones at that. As a kid, he was perfectly happy to live off the land for upwards of about, 12 years, but as soon as Bulma shows up to look for the Dragon Balls, he's pretty okay with just giving all that up and going along on an adventure, and eventually actually finds it a particularly nice hoot. Nowadays, he's pretty figured out. He knows who he is, who his friends are, and what his lot is in life. To fight people and punch them in the face. He can instantly adapt to changes in the status quo too. There are 12 universes out there and we're one of them? Okay, there's a king of everything? Cool. It's all because he's perfectly at peace with himself and he can easily go with the flow. Lastly, there's Naturalist Intelligence. Now going back to Goku's childhood, he spent most of that on his own, only with the spirit of his grandpa Gohan in the 4-star Dragon Ball for company. He had to catch his own food, use herbs and plants to cure his wounds as well as to cook with, and also not die from picking something particularly poisonous. It takes a lot of knowledge to know what you can eat and what you can't eat, especially since Goku pretty much eats everything, as we know. He does all this with his bare hands and an occasional set of tools, but mostly with his fist. For example, before the Saiyan saga even happened in a flashback, Goku was able to procure an ointment just out of tar and herbs to heal one of Gohan's cuts, and it worked pretty effectively, even though it stung like a mother from the looks of it. I wouldn't know what to do with that situation. Find a drugstore, I guess? You see, it was important for Goku to have that kind of intelligence. If he didn't, he would have died. Simple as that. Also, in some of his speeches, Goku always talks about the forests, the plants, and the animals, and how he can't let them die. Well, it seems to be quite obvious that he has a really good understanding of nature and animals in the world around him. No wonder his spirit bombs are so potent. It's because he and nature are total besties. So there we go. Goku is pretty intelligent in the grand scheme of things. Sure, he may not be great at math, literacy, or philosophy, but do we really need him to be good at those things? He is a fighter and a survivor who needs to get along with pretty much everyone so as to save the world. We do not need him to be a brilliant scientist. It's time for us to stop thinking that Goku is dumb. He isn't. He just doesn't like math. So what do you guys think? Do you think my suppositions about Goku's intelligence ring true? Do you think Goku is smart in other ways that I didn't mention? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Until the next one, be sure to like and subscribe. And until next time, guys, catch you later.